Good afternoon. You're watching Bophelong, a place of hope, right here on SABC News. My name is Pule Mulebati. A very warm welcome to you. Our recent trip to the KwaZulu-Natal was nothing short of inspirational, was educational and most certainly celebratory, as each and every woman we met along the way had a story of triumph to share with us. Now here on Bophelong, we are known for our ability to find our very own unsung heroes across the African continent and showcase their stories of triumph in the hope that they will inspire you and spark positive change. Today, we bring you the story of the Kanyile sisters. These two phenomenal women have dedicated their lives to providing quality education to the less fortunate children in their community. They believe that the best gift you can ever give to a child is a solid foundation, especially education. Let's meet them.
South Africa has been notoriously known for its escalating crime rates. Communities are therefore the root of offenders and impending offenders. Children are expected to be the future. If that future is not monitored, equipped, and developed, then what lies ahead of our future? Lollipop is a daycare center that was founded back in 2003 by two sisters that are compassionate about developing children.
You love me, we are one big family.
I-Lollipop Crash sayiqala ngonyaka ka-2003 kuJuly. Mina kanye nosisi wami uGugu kanye nobhuti wami umfowethu sayiqalisa nabazali bethu. Sisebenzisa yona indlu leya la ekhaya, sishare nabantwana. Saqalisa ngabantwana nje abawu7 njengoba manje sibe baningi kangaka. Ukuqalisa kwethu i-Lollipop sabuka emphakathini wangakithi, sibuka ingane zovanzi zihlezi zingenazo indawo la zingafunda khona. Ngakho-ke lesikhathi sibuya ukuyofunda eGoli ngoba sifunda eTechnisa eRandburg. Sabuya nodadewethu saqalisa i-crash. Abazali bethu bavuma ukuthi siqalise njengoba siyibona iqhubeka namhlanje. Ngaphambi kokuthi siqalise i-crash sasiseGoli. Singabantu nje abahambile udadewethu siyofuna umsebenzi. Kodwa kakhulukazi udadewethu wayegcwele emsebenzini wokushumayela njengoba siyofakazi bakaJehova. So mina ngaqala ukusebenza ema-crash. Kwaba yimina kuqala sase wayesuyangijoyina later kodwa nje ngaphambi kwalokho sasingakazi sifundise abazali bethu abasekho bobabili.
Growing up in a village where a daycare center was perceived as a luxury, Principal Smangele had the dream of turning the luxury into a norm.
I-program yethu istikhe ku-ECD ngoba abantwana bayifunda life skills khona lapho inumeracy language development. Sifuna ukuthi ba-develop kulezo zinto zontathu. Bathi abefika esikoleni bebe ready ukuthi bangene ku-grade 1. Social development uye wasisiza kakhulu endaweni yakithi njengoba saya kuye sacela usizo. Bayakwazi ukuthi basinikeze ukudla kwabantwana nakuba ngezinye ikhathi singakwazi ukuthola. Okwesibili usizo olukhulu sithola kuphi ukhulisa wafika kuthina ngonyaka ophelile ngoMarch uPaul Bashel wafika wasisiza kakhulu wa-introduce inhlobo eziningi zama programs ezisiza istaff ama workshop nokuhlangana nezinye ingxenye zomphakathi ama stakeholders abalulekile emphakathini asisiza ukuthi sikwazi ukuqhubekela phambili basiza abantwana basize ngisho nabazali.
Despite not having children of their own, Smangele and her sister Gugu understand the importance of love.
Mina nodadewethu asinabo abantwana okungabethu. So uthando labantwana sinalo ngaphakathi, ingakho savula i-crash. So abantwana laba bonke sibathatha njengabantwana bethu. Ingakho sibaphatha ngothando ngoba siyabathanda. Sihlala khona lapho ngaphakathi nabantwana. Makushayiswa ntambama amakhani kuba yikhaya, ekseni kuba isikole. I-playground yethu incane, njengoba sengike ngasho ukuthi uMrs Dlamini uke wadonate i-site, iyona esidinga kuyo isakhiwo kakhulu ngoba isikhala asinaso. Njengoba sikhuluma nani nje i-waiting list yinde kakhulu. Kangangokuthi i-waiting list yethu njengoba ikhona asikwazi ukuthatha abanye abantwana ngonyaka ozayo. Laba ku-waiting list sebephelele ukuthi sibathatha akekho sazothatha. So isikhala siyasidinga kakhulu nesakhiwo esifanelekayo sabantwana.
Gugu Kanyile is also a founder of the creche. Although she administers their other projects, she's a huge part of the foundation of the creche.
Uma siqala le crash sasinesifiso esijulile sokusiza abantu bakithi. Umphakathi wakithi ubusokola ngabantwana bangazi ukuthi baba beka kubo. So sasisidecide ukuthi sibuye la ekhaya sizovula i-crash. Sivule ngabantwana abawu7 bese shilo sisiwami. Sibafundisile abantwana besibafundisa kakhulu. Abantwana abancane amabhebini njengoba mina ngilapha amabhebini 0 to 2 years. Abantwana abalalelayo lapho. Uma bafundisa bayafunda nabo hayi ukuthi bancane. Yazi ngikhumbula ngilindanga umntwana simfundisa kulama class aphambelanyana ke kodwa ukukhuluma iEnglish. Kodwa mbesiza kakhulu lapho. Bekwazi ukukhuluma nodokotela. Athi mama kuthi yamsiza umntwana ayikhulumele nodokotela Musa. So sisebenzisa kakhulu ulimi lwesiZulu nolimi lwesingisi ngesikhathi esifanayo.
The children are taught many other things like gardening and how to respect the elderly around their community.
We wash our. Yeah, so what we doing?
Ingathi isidingo esikhulu ecrash ngoba imifino nje basesishilo kakade siyayidinga ukuthi siyithole la ethi. Kodwa sithi sitshalile imifino singene inkomo. Ijali dalibiyelwe kahle. Zingene imbuzi ziyadla lapha emfinweni. Manje sekusala wona ayanisi nje banibona nje ngoba kudliwa izinkomo. Sinesidingo esikhulu ngayo nangeyitshalo ke ama seeds nawo kakhulukazi siyashoda ngawo. Thabo mama baqhubeka banakela abantwana. Ngoba bayizinhlobo eziningi ezingafani abomama abanakela abantu. Khona abogogo baletha abantwana ecrash. Bayabanekekela. Khona ama guardians laba nje abaqapha intandane. Kunentandane lapha. Nalabo ma guardian. Siyafisa ukuthi baqhubeke benze umsebenzi omuhle. Nezingane zesikole ezinabantwana la. Nabo futhi siyabakhuthaza ukuthi umntwana uyigugu. Uyifa elivela kuJehova uNkulunkulu. Fanele siliphathe kahle. Sonke sibambisane ngoba kuthiwa umntwana, umzali, uthisha bonke mabambisane ukuthi akhule abe into ethile emphakathini.
More on the e-lollipop crash coming up right after the break. Don't move.
SABC News, we've got Africa covered.
Accra is a beautiful city of contradictions.
Funerals in Ghana are colorful and flamboyant. Ghana coffins are functional coffins made by specialized carpenters. These colorful objects, which have developed out of figurative palanquins, are not only coffins but considered real works of art. Each year, festivals and durbars are held in various parts of the country to celebrate the heritage of the people.
That's Kaleidoscope, Sundays 5:30 p.m. on SABC News.
Welcome back to Bophelong with me, Bophelong. The Kanyile sisters have invested in the early childhood development of the less fortunate children in their communities. Their biggest challenge, however, is less of resources. To best execute this, however, this has not prevented them from successfully doing this. They have gone to as far as winning numerous awards for their selfless acts. Their story continues. Have a look.
Xoli is one of the community members whose life was changed through the initiatives of the e-lollipop crash.
Ngiqala ukusebenza la e-lollipop bengikade ngingasebenzi ngixakekile nje ngingazi ukuthi ngizothatha ini ngihlanganise nani kodwa ngangena la ekhaya e-lollipop
bangamukela ngezandla ezimhlophe ezinhle. Ngasebenza ngaqhubeka ngasebenza from unyaka ophelile until this year ngisebenza la ekhaya. Nginabantwana abawu2 abasebenza la ekhaya. Sengiyakwazi ukukhona ukwenza izinto engifisa ukuzenza nabantwana bakhokhele i-school fees. Ngithanda ukubonga kakhulu abaphathi bami, uTeacher Gugu noTeacher Simangele. Bangisize kakhulu empilweni yami. Bengifisa ukuthi konke lokho abakwenze kimi bangakiyeki ukukwenza. Abantwana bami bangene e-crash ngokuthi ngithola umsebenzi ukuthi ngisebenze la ekhaya.
Left with 2 children to take care of on her own, Xoli was left with nothing but hope for a better future.
Bengasebenzi bengihlala ekhaya. Imfiso zami ngabantwana bami ukuthi omunye lo na5 uyaphuma this year ufunda ugrade R uye big school ngonyaka ozayo. Lo munye ufunda upregrade R uzobuya next year afunde la ekhaya. Ugrade R. Bengifisa ukuthi abantwana bami basebenze kakhulu bangibheke cause nami ngibe nesikhathi ngabanakekela nabo ngicela ukuthi bangisize bafunde bakwazi ukuthi bangenzele nami engikufisayo.
Regardless of not having a matric certificate, Xoli has her own dreams and goals to look forward to.
Esami isifiso ngifuna ukuphinde ngiqhubeke nje ngithola umsebenzi omunye alright ngisebenze kahle ngibazokhulisa abantwana bami. Impilo isingconywana because ngoba lamasente engiwatholayo sengiyakwazi ukulala ngidlile ngithenge leso sishebo leso sikwazi ukuphila nabantwana bami ayisibona akusafani nasekuqaleni ngisaqala ngingakasebenzi ngingakawuthola umsebenzi manje ngoba sengithola umsebenzi nempilo sengiyayibona iyaqhubeka akusafani nje nasekuqaleni. Ekuqaleni bekunzima kakhulu ukuswele nje uswele nemali uswele nokudla ungazi ukuthi abantwana uzobadlisa ini kodwa manje ngoba sengithole le torhe ngitholile hayi sesiyadla sengibona nje impilo iyaqhubeka.
Paul Bushell, a psychologist, talks about a model that community members like Simangele and her sister have used in improving the lives of children and adults like Xoli. It is called the STS model.
The model is a well-researched scientific model which looks at the idea that we can't do things as effectively on our own. We exist within a system, and so all the parts of that system have a part to play in improving our communities, improving our creches. So a fundamental feature of the model is bringing together partners, stakeholders, so the creche community, the parents, the teachers, concerned citizens who live around the creche, but then also other key partners, government departments, Department of Social Development, members from the municipality, police, protection services, and then also corporates as well who want to play a role in developing their communities. We all come around a table together and we evaluate the creche. We score it on 48 elements which make up a good creche. At Lollipop Creche, a key feature of many of the early childhood development centres out here is that they have to register as a non-profit organisation themselves. They have to register with DSD, and that allows them then to access funding, food grants, social grants, etc. To be able to complete that paperwork, you've got to meet certain norms and standards.
Simangele, through eLollipop, has managed to get children from their rural isolated village to being admitted at inner city schools.
If we can make a greater impact at an early childhood development level, if we are able to give the children sitting around me now positive early childhood experiences, they're less likely to go on and become offenders. At the end of every year has our annual Community Achievers Awards, where we nominate women from each of our projects, our STS projects like this, and they become finalists in a women's competition. They're then judged by a panel of independent judges, and then we choose one winner. This creche was part of that competition last year, and the principal was one of the finalists, and she did really, really well in that competition. So, as much as it's important for community members to go out there and try and make a difference, it's also really important that we recognize them and we support them in their efforts.
Now, isn't that just adorable? Well, we applaud the Kanyile sister and every other woman who has continued to enrich the lives of others. Remember to send your stories of success and triumph, and we sure will be there to cover it. Our email address is bophelong@sabc.co.za, and on Twitter we are @Bophelong Show. We unpack early childhood development methods with an ECD specialist, Rosita Ashwadat, right after the break. Stay right here.
Have we seen the last of you in politics?
I don't know. No, I'm just okay now with the work that I'm doing. Let me just do one thing at a time. So I don't have any plans for politics.
Watch Question Time with me, Mpho Tsedu, Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on the SABC News Channel.
Zoom into Africa. This is Seychelles. The president is Mr. James Michel James. Seychelles got independent from United Kingdom on 29 June in 1976. The population is over 80,000 people. One of the major languages spoken is English. Monetary unit is the Seychelles rupee.
A very warm welcome to you at home. This is Afro Showbiz News, the show that brings you all things art and entertainment from around the African continent. Tunisian rapper Ben Ahmed, better known as Clay BBJ, has been released after spending 2 weeks in prison. The arrest came after he was accused of insulting security and violating public morals. The songs sung by the artists criticized the current situation in Tunisia. That's Afro Showbiz. Catch us every Saturday evening at 7:30.
Welcome back to Bophelong with me, Pule Molebatsi. Earlier on, we heard the story of how Smangele and his sister Gugu are using a creche to transform a community. Quite often, we undermine just how much early childhood development can do in giving children the lessons and values that make great adults in the future. To talk to us about that very impact is Rosita Ashwadat, the Senior Program Manager of Training and Resources in Early Education, also known as TREE. Rosita, welcome to Bophelong.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Rosita, let's start off by having you to unpack what TREE does.
So TREE is a training organization that focuses on early childhood development. But we have a whole range of strategies that also seeks to create access to children. Access to ECD, particularly for those children who live in very marginalized and rural communities.
Yeah.
So it's about taking services to where children are.
And Rosita, just in South Africa, can you please paint a picture of how far we are with the ECD method? How well are we doing? Are we doing that good, or do we still have to improve?
I think there is tremendous room for improvement. I think within the South African context, we have issues around poverty, malnutrition that result in irreversible developmental stunting. We have the presence of infectious diseases, which is compounded by the prevalence of HIV and AIDS. And we also have issues around disrupted caregiving, where we have children that are living without parents, children who are orphaned, absent parents, parents who are not able to effectively parent their child and be responsive to their developmental needs. So that is essentially the context of ECD in the country. However, there are policies and legislations in place that ensure that we are addressing the critical issues around early childhood development. From a rights-based approach, we have the Constitution in place that is supported by the National Development Plan that guarantees the basic rights of children, as well as an investment in the first 1,000 days of the child. We also have the South African Integrated Plan of Action that seeks to provide a comprehensive package of services to children. And most recently, we have the draft national policy and program that clearly illustrates an action plan for ECD implementation in South Africa.
So just how important it is that different communities do adopt this method? Of the ECD?
I think value of a child's early years. The economic benefits of actually investing in children has been extensively documented, and investing fully in children today will ensure their well-being as well as their productivity in future generations and unemployment. I think we must note that the first few weeks and even years of a child's life is a very significant period in establishing their cognitive, social, emotional, and physical development. And this essentially creates a foundation for their educational and developmental trajectory. And I think we need to understand that all of these factors positive building. One needs to understand also that early childhood development is sequential and cumulative. And so what do I mean by that? Essentially, each new stage of development builds upon the previous stage, increase vulnerabilities that deepen and accumulate as the child grows, causing irreversible consequences.
Rosisha, did you get that?
I think that, yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. What we have in the standards that have been developed and are in place, like the National Early Learning and Development Standards, that these ECD practitioners then look at these indicators, and in accordance with the child's growth, is able to assess the child against these outcomes, ensuring that the child has competencies in various areas of child development, including preparing the child for primary school and ensuring that there's competency around numeracy, and literacy.
For the development of the disabled children?
I think what that really asks for is specialized training, that the rendering programs to children with various disabilities. In very specialized cases where the disabilities acute, there is a need for children with special needs can actually be accommodated in ECD settings. And so we render training programs that encourage the practitioner to integrate inclusive activities into the normal mainstream learning environment, which focuses on, modifying the learning program, modifying the actual classroom layout, and introducing activities and assessment tools that talk to various disabilities. So, for example, with a child that has a sight impairment, you will have a puzzle pieces with knobs on it. If you look at a child that has a speech impairment, you'd look at encouraging action rhymes. And so these are some of the very simple strategies that can be employed to encourage inclusive environments.
So what is the impact of a child who has had a decent ECD in their childhood? What impact does it have in their childhood, in their adulthood? Pardon me for that.
Not a problem. I think that there has been significant research that has clearly indicated that if you are able to build a firm foundation for a child through early childhood development, it has a very positive impact on the child's educational and developmental trajectory. I think scientific evidence has also shown that ECD has an impact in terms of education, the person and the profession that the person will eventually go through, as well as the earning potential of that individual. If you look at health and longevity, yes, you know, I think ECD and responding to a child's needs at this early stage really impacts on an individual's longevity. As well as levels of stress and anxiety that an individual may experience in adulthood.
All right.
There's just compelling evidence to show that that nutrition, parenting, and early stimulation makes ECD services a priority for socio-economic development in this country.
Well, thank you so much, Rosisha. And that's how we conclude Bophelong for today's episode. That was Rosisha Ashwadad, a tree specialist. And as for me, it's a wrap for today. Remember, you can catch the repeat tomorrow at 12:30, and we'll be right back here at 5:30 next weekend. Bye-bye.